Dear students, welcome to this English session. In this session, I am going to deal with a very important chapter in the first block of your first year English course book. The title of the chapter is Quest for a Theory of Everything. We have already come across three important discourses in the first block. The first one, Abe's first speech, an anecdote from the life of Abraham Lincoln. The second discourse is a short story by Liam O'Flaherty. The title of the short story is His First Flight. And the third one, a speech delivered by the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The title of the chapter is I Will Fly. In all these discourses, we have come across so many important personality traits which help a person to be successful. In the chapter I Will Fly, Dr. Kalam exhorts the youngsters to pursue their dreams, to follow their dreams in their own unique ways. There are so many people who pursue their dreams in their own unique ways. They show their unique ways, they show their uniqueness while fighting against adversities and limitations. This chapter, Quest for a Theory of Everything, is a profile of Stephen Hawking. This is an insightful, absorbing and inspiring account of the extraordinary life of Stephen Hawking and his brilliant mind. The title of the chapter is Quest for a Theory of Everything. What do you mean by the expression quest? Quest means a long, arduous search. A long, difficult and tiring search for something. In the medieval romances, quest means an expedition of a knight on horseback to accomplish a prescribed task. Now I move on to the text. Just listen to this reading. Quest for a Theory of Everything, Kitty Gale Ferguson. In the Cockcroft Lecture Room on April 29, 1980, scientists and university dignitaries gathered in steep tiers of seats facing a two-story wall of chalkboard and slide screen. The occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics, the 38-year-old mathematician and physicist Stephen Hawking. The first paragraph speaks about a particular incident that took place on April 29, 1980. It took place in the Cockcroft Lecture Room. The Cockcroft building is a famous building. It's a part of Cambridge University and it is named after a very famous British scientist physicist, John Douglas Cockcroft. John Douglas Cockcroft was a very famous British physicist. He shared Nobel Prize with Ernest Dalton in the year 1951 for splitting the nucleus of atom. He was instrumental behind the development of nuclear energy. He died in the year 1967 and after his death many buildings in UK, in United Kingdom, in Britain are named after him. This is a famous building at the new museum site of Cambridge University. It comprises a lecture theatre and so many hardware laboratories. So, the incident took place in that lecture room of Cockcroft building. It took place in the Cockcroft lecture room. There is a special thing about Cockcroft lecture room or theatre. It has steep tiers of seats. What do you mean by tier? Tier means each in a series of rows or levels of a structure, as of the seats of a sloping gallery. It can be the row of seats, or it can be one of the galleries among the various galleries in a stadium. You will get a clear idea of tiers from the photographs that you can see on the screen. Famous scientists and dignitaries were seated on these steep tiers of seats in the Cockcroft Lecture Theatre. And these eminent personalities were listening to the inaugural address of a new Lucasian professor. Who was that new Lucasian professor? Stephen Hawking was the new Lucasian professor. He was the 17th Lucasian professor. What do you mean by Lucasian professor? Lucasian professorship is a chair of professorship in the University of Cambridge. The holder of that position is called Lucasian professor. It's a chair of professorship founded by Henry Lucas in the year 1663. Henry Lucas was a former member of parliament from Cambridge. And this post was officially established by King Charles II in the year 1664. So many eminent scientists and mathematicians were holders of this famous post. Isaac Barrow was the first Lucasian professor, and the second Lucasian professor was a very famous mathematician and scientist, Isaac Newton. So many other great scientists were holders of these eminent posts, like Charles Babbage, Paul Dirac, and the 17th Lucasian professor was Stephen Hawking. He became the Lucasian professor of mathematics in the University of Cambridge in the year 1980. The current Lucasian professor is Michael Cates. He became the Lucasian professor of mathematics in the year 2015. So this post is considered as one of the most prestigious academic posts in the world. So many eminent personalities, so many great scientists and dignitaries were assembled in the Cockcroft lecture room to listen to the inaugural address of Stephen Hawking, who was selected as the new Lucasian professor in the year 1980. The dignitaries and the eminent scientists, they were facing a two-storied wall. What do you mean by this expression, two-storied wall? That means the wall has two parts. The lower part is a chalkboard and the upper part is a slide screen. The wall has two parts. The lower part is a chalkboard and the upper part is a slide screen. The scientists and these dignitaries, they were anxiously waiting to listen to the inaugural address delivered by Stephen Hawking, the new Lucasian professor. In the first 3 paragraphs of this chapter, we find so many bits of information. You may not get questions from these bits of information in your examination, but these bits of information or these pieces of information will definitely increase your knowledge. Now I move on to the next paragraph. Listen to this reading. The title of the lecture was a question: Is the end in sight for theoretical physics? Hawking startled his listeners by announcing that he thought it was. He invited them to join him in a sensational escape through time and space to find the holy grail of science, the theory that explains the universe and everything that happens in it. The title of his inaugural address was, "Is the end in sight for theoretical physics?" Is the end of theoretical physics imminent, so near? Is the end so near for theoretical physics? Then he surprised, startled, shocked the audience by saying that he thought the end of theoretical physics was almost imminent. It was so near. That means almost all the theories in physics have already been formulated. The end of all the theories is so imminent, is so near. This was the argument of Stephen Hawking. Then he invited all the eminent personalities assembled in the Cockcroft lecture room to join him in that sensational escape through time and space. In that exciting escape, in that interesting journey through time and space. Some of you might have watched that film Time Machine or read that science fiction The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Time Machine in that science fiction is a machine capable of transporting a person backwards and forwards in time. If you are able to travel faster than light, scientists, experts say that you can move to your past, you can travel to your future. So he invited all the people assembled in the Cockcroft lecture room to join him in that sensational journey through time and space to find out that holy grail of science, the theory that explains everything in the universe, the theory that explains everything that happens in the universe. There is another striking expression in that paragraph. The expression is holy grail of science. What do you mean by holy grail? Holy grail means the cup, the chalice, or the platter used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. There is another myth related to this holy grail. So many Christian communities believe that Joseph of Arimathea collected the holy blood of Jesus Christ in this cup. So most of the Christian communities believe that this cup is so sacrosanct, so holy, so sacred. Because of that, in the medieval ages, there had been so many quests. There had been so many expeditions, so many missions to find out the holy grail of Jesus Christ. But still, that cup remains as an elusive dream. People haven't yet found out the cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. It remains as an elusive dream. A dream which is very difficult to accomplish. Something which is very difficult to attain, achieve, or get. Holy Grail literally means a much sought after object. People are after it. People try their level best to find out that, but still it remains as an elusive dream. Such an object is considered as a holy grail. The expression holy grail has great significance here. Because for ages, for so many years, scientists, physicists and mathematicians all over the world have tried their level best to find out a theory which can explain everything in the universe, which explains everything that happens in the universe. Still, it remains as an elusive dream. That means scientists haven't been able to find out that theory. And scientists call that theory a holy grail. So, the expression is very significant, holy grail of science, which means the theory which explains everything in the universe. And that theory, unfortunately, remains as an elusive dream even in these days. There is a biopic of Stephen Hawking. The title of that biopic is The Theory of Everything. Now I move on to the third paragraph of this profile, Quest for a Theory of Everything by Kitty Gale Ferguson. Listen to this reading. Stephen Hawking sat silently in a wheelchair while one of his students read his lecture to the assembled company. Judged by appearance alone, Hawking didn't seem a promising choice to lead any adventure. Stephen Hawking sat silently in a wheelchair while one of his students delivered his lecture to the assembled company. We all know that Stephen Hawking contracted a neurological disorder and he couldn't move his body parts. He sat silently in a wheelchair. And there was another problem, there was another disability. He couldn't speak in a normal way. So one of his students delivered his lecture to the assembled gathering. There is another striking expression in the text. He did not seem a promising choice to lead any adventure. In his lecture, Stephen Hawking invited the audience to join him in that adventure to find out the holy grail of science. In that mission, in that task to find out the holy grail of science. But when we judge the appearance of this person, he did not seem to be a promising choice. Promising means showing signs of future success. Here it means that if such a person led an adventure, if such a person led a mission, most probably the mission, the task, the adventure would become a failure, because a good leader should have certain qualities. A person who leads an adventure should be physically very strong. He should be physically very fit. But Stephen Hawking was so weak, he couldn't move his body parts and he sat silently in a wheelchair. Another important thing is that a leader should be a good communicator. He should be able to express his ideas freely. He should be able to communicate his ideas freely and effectively to his teammates. But Stephen Hawking couldn't speak in a normal way. And that is the reason why this particular expression is used in the text. This particular expression is used by the author Kitty Gale Ferguson. He did not seem to be a promising choice to lead any adventure. There is a question in your textbook. Can a person be judged by his appearance alone? What is your answer? What is your opinion? And justify your answer. Can a person be judged by his appearance alone? We have already come across a person in the first discourse, Abe's first speech. Abraham Lincoln did not bother about his physical appearance and he delivered a beautiful speech. And he could outshine a seasoned political stump speaker. So in the first 3 paragraphs of this chapter, we come across so many bits of information, so many pieces of information. Try to go through these 3 paragraphs 2 or 3 times. Try to understand the concepts, and in the next session, we will go through his childhood, his parents, his early schooling, his college education, etc. That's all for the day. Thank you.